rebuild season. We have arrived. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I guess we'll find out as we go into this. So my understandings of the rebuilds, or my maybe not understandings, but assumptions of what they would be, was we take a story that we had told at one point, that we had a certain amount of resources, that we had to build a fan base for, that we had essentially to start from zero, and may have not gotten the proper treatment that maybe the staff themselves, maybe the original creator himself, the director himself, no matter who's involved, may have fully wanted and fully intended, due to limitations that they had. So this is an opportunity to restart everything from the beginning. If you were in a position, with what you have learned, what you've gone through, what you've done up to this point, what would you change and how would you progress that? And a lot of times they won't actually change the endings, or they won't actually change like a lot of key moments within it, but it's just actual like building up to get to those points that things actually change, where we might introduce things at different points, where we might present things in slightly different ways, that tie things up a little bit nicer, that don't allow for some kind of plot holes in certain areas maybe, or don't introduce things and then kind of let them go untouched forever, or introduce things really late because you forgot to do it, or introduce things right at the beginning and then you forgot to touch on them until the end and then have to, and a variety of things like that. Essentially like a redux of almost what we're doing. But I think to the One Piece live action that came out recently, and while that's not a direct one-to-one comparison, it's a similar thing almost if Oda was in a position where he was redoing the story today, how he may have had certain character interactions or certain character meetings or certain introductions to them happen maybe earlier in the story or later or at different points or with different people, and certain things, supervised through him were kind of altered and changed also because they had to fit the type of, live action setting and everything that they were doing, and they had to like get things in within a certain time and everything, of course. But it's a interesting look, and I'm sure a lot of creators and people would look back on that, and you always do. You always end up looking back on the things that you create and either see how much you've improved or see how much you've kind of changed and what you would do different. And I almost feel that's what this is. That's my assumption as to what it is. Now, it could just be here, let's just do a whole bunch of different movies, and each of them are basically the full story, just packed into one, all the essential things that we feel, at least, and we can go out of our way and we can present a different kind of I guess realities. I don't know the right word I'm looking for. Like possible realities, similar to the situations that we've seen at the back end of the series itself. And we can create like entire sequences and like movies and everything out of them. Would also be a pretty cool thing, I guess, for them to do if they wanted to choose that route. But I believe it would probably be more so the first one, and I think that would make a lot more sense. So I'm excited to see if that is the case. If that's not the case, I got zero clue what we're doing, but I'm excited regardless. There's 4 of these, I know. Each of them are varying in timelines and the stuff that they came out. I think the first 2 are both, I think when I looked, it was 2007 and 9, and then the next one was like 3 or 4 years after that, and then the next one took like 10. So like very different timelines, but this is also 10 plus years since the end of the series, so probably quality wise should be significantly different, maybe even artistically will be presented in a slightly different way too. And I wonder if that itself is going to make the series feel almost as if it loses its identity, the things that almost maybe I latched onto and really enjoyed about it that made it feel so special or unique. I wonder if a lot of that gets lost in the process here or not, because just with the times changing and the way that they evolve. I don't know. I'm excited though to get into that and kind of see, and I hope you guys are as well. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to me a lot. To me, feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave me comments with this episode or series. Let's get going with the first of the 4 Evangelion rebuilds 1.0. I thought it was 1.0. I guess it's 1.11. My bad. My bad. You can already see right from the start just almost the more clarity that you're getting, and wow. Damn. I'm gonna say the clarity in a lot of the shots significantly different. But we are right from the beginning. I also wonder if it's just because I got so used to him over time, but he feels a little older here. Like his looks.
しょうがない。シェルターに行こう。
I wonder too if we tell the story so similar in a way, if there's even a lot for me to point out and say. Or if a lot of it's just going to be like, oh, this is like cool because you can catch on to things earlier. Just imagine how terrifying it is. I don't think you could even imagine that. I still love how calm she is in that. I love the one that landed on him and got crushed as it was landing on. The artillery isn't enough. You gotta bring in nerve. You know the rules. At least I know the rules. Well, that didn't do anything. I love the effects. Turn around and let the guy behind your handle it. Come on. I still love the car being held together by tape. My bad.
さっきのでかいのは何ですかとか、何が起こってるんですかとか聞きそうなもんじゃない？いや、聞いても何も答えてくれないだろうと思って。
Making assumptions from the beginning, aren't we now, buddy?
ちなみにさっきのは使徒と呼ばれる謎の生命体よ。
大した自己復元能力だな。単独で完結している純完全生物だ。当然だよ。生命の実を食べた者たちか。ああ。知恵の実を食べた我々を滅ぼすための存在ところですね。
まあね。お父さんの仕事を知ってる？
I'd rather not.
あ、そうだ。お父さんから ID もらってない？はい。どうぞ。ありがとう。
I forgot about that. Look at the team, buddy. You're gonna hate yourself even more than you already do at this point. Good luck.
そっか。苦手なのね、お父さんが。私と同じね。迷ったんですか？まだ不慣れでね。まあ、進んでりゃそのうち着くわよ。
The difference in visuals for the facility so far itself is interesting.
到着予定時刻12分もオーバークイッカ E 計画担当責任者赤木律子よろしくね。はい。
では後を頼む。3年ぶりの対面か。副司令、目標が再び移動を開始しました。
Meeting after 3 years, yeah, I almost wish it never happened. I almost wish he didn't have to.
あなたに見せたいものがある。
Face to face with the beast.
究極の汎用人型決戦兵器人造人間エヴァンゲリオンその初号機我々人類最後
出撃
0号機は凍結中でしょ。まさか初号機を使うつもりなの？他に道はないわ。
But nobody's ever been able to pilot it before.
僕がこれに乗ってさっきのと戦えっていうの？
そう。
Good luck.
何を今更なんだよ。父さんは僕が行かないんじゃなかったの？
But we need you now. So lock the fuck in, buddy.
他の人間には無理だからな。
無理だよそんなの。見たことも聞いたこともないのにできるわけないよ。
説明を受けろ。
そんなできっこないよ。こんなの乗れるわけないよ。
乗るなら早くしろ。出なければ。
Get in the robot, buddy. The lives of so many weighing on you.
やつめ、ここに気づいたか。こ
乗りなさい。
No matter where you look, they're all the same.
シンジ君、何のためにここに来たの？ダメよ、逃げちゃう。お父さんから、何よりも自分から。分かってるよ。でもできるわけないよ。
霊を起こしてくれ。使えるかね。死んでいるわけではない。分かった。
Wheel her out. Rush out the hospital bed. Wheel her in. It's still so cool how they did that. Has she always had the green on her? I don't remember though, at least. This is gonna be one of those scenarios where like I say a lot of things that are like new or different and they're just not, and it's just me not remembering, huh? Yeah, what are you gonna do now, huh? You're gonna let all these people die in your hands? Lock in. So the Ava didn't protect him this time. Huh. And they're going next level with a lot of the diagrams. You'll get used to it.
肺が LCA 部で満たされれば直接血液に酸素を取り込んでくれます。すぐに慣れるわ。異常なし。了解。
So grand. They did really go like next level of being like, yeah, this is all the like the inner workings and everything of it. Move out. Good luck, soldier. To the battlefield. I know we haven't taught you how to fight. I know you don't even know how to pilot it. I know you don't know anything. I know you just got here. It's your first day in the job. Need you out of the mines, though. Get to work, buddy. The green might not be different then, it just like is way more apparent. Nobody's ever done this before. Oh my god. Well, so much for that. It's like when you play QWOP, you know what I'm saying? You just fucking fall over like that. Think you get the hang of it and you don't. Mention of the field not working, so it's kind of just letting it happen. Synchronization rates not being at a high enough point. Does it just blast through it? Forgot how cold that scene was. Wake up, bitch. It's time. I'll handle this on my own. Just pummel the thing. Yeah, we gonna go right through that bitch though. So we don't get any hospital cut in this one. This sucks. That was like the highlight. Damn. I forgot about all the shifting buildings. Yeah, beat that bitch. Yeah, tear it apart. Self-destruct. Oh, with the rainbow.
エヴァは
Walking him down. That's cold. Pool of blood.
本当の姿
You got what you want, buddy, huh? You happy?
男だったら信じ
Oh, this is early. This is early for Liz.
違う綾波レイ
We give it a different and feed through the flesh. That's pretty cool. It doesn't have the shock value or the what the fuck just happened moment of the first one. Also under the assumption that you've already seen it. But it's a pretty cool way to redirect it.
第五の使徒出現時にまた役立てばよい。ご心
As long as he can keep fighting, I don't give a fuck what's wrong with it.
2号機と付属パイロットもドイツにて実証評価試験中です。滅はリリスとの契約のごく一部に過ぎ。
Mention of Lilith. Mention of the project.
我々の究極の願いだ。分かっております。すべてはゼーレのシナリオ通りに。
Alright. That makes me want to go back and check now if they did mention Lilith earlier, because I almost felt like we didn't hear about Lilith until like episode like 24. So I'm very curious now if that was intentional for those. My arm's still here? It didn't get fucking twisted and torn? Crazy. The infamous scene. To cross the barrier or not, to avert the eyes. Unable to welcome yourself in and face it.
いいんです一人の方が
I'd rather not be with others.
なんですってだからシンジ君は私のところで引き取ることにしたから上の許可も取ったし心配しなくても子供に手出したりしないわよ
I have reason to believe that that's not true.
さて今夜はパーッとやらなきゃね何をですか
It's called
もちろん新たなる同居人の歓迎会よ
The boy Pen Pen will get to meet you too. This is when we start hearing all the rumors spreading in. Yeah, pipe all that negative things into his fucking ears. Let him hear it all. It is a special place.
寂しい街ですね
Mm-hmm. Let's go. The CG city. Move out. To be fair, to up close show it and make it extremely dynamic when you do it, how the fuck else would you do it? Let's be honest. Like, you can't do this shot and not have it be in it. It's still so sick, though. It's so
首都
cool.
専用迎撃要塞都市第三新東京市私たちの街よ
Tokyo 3, baby.
そしてあなたが守った街ここはあなたの家なのよ
Mm-hmm. Cross the line, buddy. Let's go.
まあちょっと散らかってるけど気にしないでね
Just a little. Also, just moved in, huh?
あごめん食べ物冷蔵庫入れといてはいこりビールばっかしどんな生活してんだろ
And they really up the quality of our snacks, huh? A classic. Couldn't get rid of that.
こういう食事慣れてないのでダメよ好き嫌いしちゃいえ違うんです
I don't have a fucking family, Masato, alright?
こうして他の人と食事すんのはい嫌なことはお風呂に入ってパーッと洗い流しちゃいなさい風呂は命の選択よ
Nope.
何？ああ、彼？温泉ペンギンという鳥の仲間よ。
The fucking boy, bro. Oh, I miss him. He needs more time. They should give him some more scenes in this. Just because. There's no reason that they shouldn't.
それより前隠したら？
Just think it's fine if you don't want to, but
ちとわざとらしい。
ご子息はよろしいのですか？精神的にかなり不安定と思われますが。
放っておけ。むしろ0号機凍結解除のいい口実になる。
合わせて強引に接収された碇司令の息子。確かに違和感残る案件ね。
questioning from the beginning. She doesn't have the scar here. Or was the scar underneath? I thought it was above. It might be underneath. I don't know. I don't remember.
なんでここにいるんだろう。
How you almost think of that question more so of like existence-wise now opposed to his purpose for operating the Ava.
められる立派なことをしたのよ。胸を張っていいわ。おやすみ、シンジ君。頑張ってね。
So keep doing the things you're doing. The boys! The fucking boys before they were the boys, but the boys!
殴っとかな気が済まへんねや。悪いね。この間の騒ぎであいつの妹さん怪我しちゃってさ。ま、そういうことだから。僕だって乗りたくて乗ってるわけじゃないのに。
You want more? Huh? So we don't have the whole scene of everybody in the class finding out, but that was so fun. I like that scene.
目標をセンターに入れてスイッチ。これを的確に処理して感覚で覚え込んで。
Fun simulation again. A video game in a way. We turn that simulated violence into real violence.
この言うことにはおとなしく従う。それがあの子の処世術じゃない。
Wow. Saw through it easy.
目標をセンターに入れてスイッチ。目標をセンターに入れてスイッチ。目標をセンターに入れてスイッチ。
Brainwash yourself and just fucking focus on that one thing and try and lock everything else out. Oh, what a fucking...
スネートに殴られた。
This is so cool.
セキュリティ大丈夫なの？
情報部の監視システムに問題は？
相手に自分のぬくもりを伝えたいと思っても、身を寄せれば寄せるほど体中のトゲでお互いを傷つけてしまう。人間にも同じことが言えるわ。今のシンジ君は心のどこかでその痛みに怯えて臆病になっているんでしょうね。
Makes it reluctant to meet and close in the gap towards others.
いつになったらこの B 棟の設備改修予算降りんのかしら？
エヴァの維持と並走関連が最優先ですもの。もうないんじゃない？
I would be glad to take a trip like this every day. I guess if it's cold though. I'm not good in the cold.
非常招集、先行くから。
Okay, Ray. Thank you. I always just find it funny too. I guess they're just aware of what her position is and what she does, but it's just funny to me that she shows up so heavily like hurt and bandaged like that and everybody just keeps their distance. They're like, I'm not even gonna bother. But they definitely went heavy into the aspect of like expanding the city itself and expanding a lot of the set pieces and stuff that they do. A lot of the on-screen visuals of, I mean, just the transformation we hear of this, but also the general like transformation and insides when it comes to like the Avas and everything as well are a lot more expanded than they previously will, or previous were.
日本政府からエヴァンゲリオンの出動要請が来ています。
うるさいやつらね。言われなくても出撃させるわよ。
We was doing that regardless. Also, they didn't want to hear it before, but after we were successful once, they want to use us.
名乗ってんだろ。人に嫌われてまで。
それでね。
委員長、
何？
わしら二人便所や。
もうちゃんと済ませときなさいよ。
I like the class rep a lot.
敵が来てくれるかどうか。
Right now, actually. Who would have thunk?
この時を逃してはあるいは永久に。
At least they weren't lying too and they actually had to piss.
出撃いいわねよくって敵 AT フィールド中は
Are you ready to launch? I mean, no, but like you're gonna do it anyway.
発進
Move out. Transform, baby.
すごい
There we go. You're gonna see some shit you don't wanna see, buddy.
出た
The boys.
敵が見えない
I could have sworn he had like a normal looking gun before. Now he got a minigun. What a drum mag.
やっぱ殴られたのが効いてるのかなうるさいわ
Look at your dad. He doesn't even want to fight now because of you. No. The little arms, I fucking hate. It's so gross.
なんで戦わへんねや僕らは
'Cause of you.
ここにいるから自由に動けないんだ
Get out of there. Or get in there. I forgot they go in. Get in. The boys are back together. Not in the ideal way for them, but they're back. The Force.
交代して
プログレッシブナイフ装備
The human hand.
シンジ君命令を聞きなさい退却よシンジ君
The way he just slides on down. Excellent, brother. Just keep pushing. Fuck it. Right at the buzzer, as the boys have to watch on. The rainbow forms. The rainbow counts up to 2 this episode. Keeping an eye on them. Never know when they're gonna pop up a trivia question and ask you how many came up, you know?
あなたは私の命令に従う義務があるのわかるわね
はい
今後こういうことのないように
はい
あんた本当に分かってんでしょうね
ええ分かってますよ美里さんいいじゃないですか勝ったんだから言われ
You're welcome for that?
いいわ先に帰って休んでなさい
She's kind of like physically like not well, I kind of want to say abusive, but I don't at the same time. I never really thought about that, but she kind of is. She handles them a lot. I'm happy they kept this. I really liked this shot when it was first here. Hot young girls lined up just for us? Oh shit. We should do it. This should be a different show now. That he just ran away. He had an opportunity. Really expand out the city here. No movie theater? No movie theater? Swear they just rip away some of my favorite moments. Heartbreaking to see. They didn't have the meeting with the boy there. I'm pretty sure that happened right after he's up on the mountainside, right? Broken road. You can't continue onwards. Can't run away much longer.
美里さんのところに連れてってください。
I've come to capture you.
僕はエヴァに乗るしかないんですよね。そのためだけに父さんに呼ばれたんだから。いいですよ。乗りますよ。それでみんながいいんだったら僕はいいですよ。
みんなってあなたはどうなの？関係ないでしょ。エヴァのパイロットを続けるかどうかあなた自身が決めなさい。
You have a
嫌ならここを出
choice.
て行ってもいい。すべてあなたの自由よ。好きにすればいいわ。
結局お前の息子は予定通りの行動をとったな。ああ、次はもう少し霊に接近させる。計画に変更はない。14年前からのシナリオ、運命を仕組まれた子供たちか。過酷すぎるな。
The scrolls. Gotta get my payback.
殴ってすまなかったな、怒り。
I'm all looking on. I remember those.
水原って目つきがあるし。私すべて抹消済み。
その綾波
I wonder why that happened.
お父さんが。
電源落とせ。
はい。ゼロ号機よ。
Beat him. Beat him. Break through the glass. Come on. Beat him. Oh, he actually has some emotion here. I thought he had none the first time it happened.
オートエジェクション作動します。
行くぞ。
7、
It's still terrifying to see it just fucking hit the wall like that.
2、1。
Burn it in your hands. So I'd assume this essentially will cover a lot of the things that happen through probably the first, what, 7 episodes? That lead us till we meet Asuka, which I think starts in 8.
どうしていつも一人なんだろう。
エヴァ初号機は第3次冷却に入ります。第6次冷却はシンクロテストまでの各システムを落としてください。エントリープラグのパーソナルデータはオールレンジ。
Ah, look at this. How lovely. Something you don't get. Some family time. Just a mother and daughter, or a father and daughter.
自分を見て知って触れて一言でいい。
Yup.
欲しいのよ。孤独を感じさせない愛情が欲しいだけだと思う。父親との確執。美里と同じね。帰るならこれ。シンジ君の正式なセキュリティカードと綾波レイの更新カード。さっき私そびれて。明日シンジ君に頼めるかしら。
I forgot about these. No, you fucking did it. You re-instructed. I wonder also if her bouncing and being like, I gotta go work was like initial, like early beginnings of meetings and stuff with Gendo.
なんで笑ってるんだ。なんで僕には笑わないんだ。
Uncomfortable moment in Evangelion Part 1 begins. And action. Imagine trying to sleep here and hearing this shit outside. I couldn't do it. I wonder what the pills she takes does for her.
綾波のかな。
I wish they were hers. Such a cool scene to be able to have him, or have her see him like this.
僕は別に。
The classic, the good old trip and grope. An amateur move. Absolute amateur moves. I really don't give a fuck. Thanks.
律子さんが私の忘れてたからって本当なんだ。それチャイム鳴らしても誰も出ないし鍵がこれ綾波の新しいやつ律子さんに頼まれて
Nice. No, thank you. Come on, Ray. Come on. Like, it's shots like these that it's, like, fun and interesting how they can alter and change them, but they feel like they lose so much from what the original did. But it does really add to the scale of how big the place is.
信じられないのお父さんの仕事が
Ah, fuck that guy.
あんな父親なんて
See, I remember him lashing a little bit harder there. But it also could be to showcase that even when he just simply states something, just the general nature of talking bad about him at that point was not something she would tolerate. Even if it isn't him being like aggressive and having anger within his tone, you know?
初号機を出撃させる。
エヴァ初号機発進準備
第一迎撃兵装に換装。
目標
Bang. Oh, what the fuck? Oh shit. Oh, crazy. No, you must endure.
専用庫を破棄パイロット保護優先プラグを緊急射出して
ダメだ。
機体を強制回収爆砕ボルトに点火して
Damn. Back to our form. The drilling begins. That was a cool effect on it.
奴の狙いはここネルフ本部への直接攻撃
Yeah.
では各部署の分析結果を報告して
Does not look impressed.
今日まで完成していた22層すべての格納式装甲体を貫き
That is crazy though that there are like literally 22 layers under the ground. Like that's kind of nuts.
おまけに0号機は未調整のため実戦は不可能。
初号機も先の損傷で当分はまともに動けないわ。
ちょっとやっておきたい
There are 1 in 0.00011% chance. The smallest bit. We must give it a shot. Get bro out the fucking hospital and tell him it's go time. We're launching.
国連軍はいいとして、よく外務省と戦略自衛隊を説得できたわね。
Ah, that's easy. Just leave that there.
いろいろと貸しがあるのよ
That's an awesome shot. Please evacuate. Please just don't use any electricity. Just
繰り返します
trust us.
より未明にかけて
We need all of the power in the country, so the drilling continues as we borrow every fucking thing of power in the world.
電力系統が信号で
To be honest, we made this much progress and they're only on 7. That's good.
仕込み用超電導ケーブルを下双子山に向けて敷設中変圧システム込み
It's the longest fucking name I've ever heard.
50分までには
でも彼、もう一度乗るかしら。
He's gonna fucking have to. He don't have a choice.
ダミープラグは試験運用前の段階だ。実用化に至るまでは今のパイロットに役立ってもらう。
最悪の場合洗脳か。
ダメな時は霊を使うまでだ。
霊を初号機にあまりに危険すぎないか。
いかなる手段を用いても我々はあと8体の使徒を倒さねばならん。
So laying out early on here about the amount of angels we need. Gendo's the person who's getting the most progress on the scenes here due to him almost feeling entirely underdeveloped throughout the main series, in my opinion, which is a good thing. That we are doing that.
たらみんなに嫌われる。ひどけりゃ死ぬだけ。
I don't really get anything out of this.
ここにいるんだ。なんで生きてんだ僕は。生きていてもしょうがないと思っていたじゃないか。父さんも美里さんも誰も僕がいらないんだ。エヴァに乗らない僕は必要ないんだ。だから僕はエヴァに乗るしかないんだ。だから僕はここにいられるんだ。だけどエヴァに乗ると
Fucking hate myself even more than I already do.
また同じ天井。エヴァに乗るとこれば
Always bring you to a place I fucking hate.
90分後に出発よ。
またあれに乗れっていうのか。
Yup.
そうよ。
もう嫌だ。
Part of the job.
もうあんな怖い思いしたくない。
私が乗る。
But if you don't go, then what is left of you? That is you, right? That's what people expect of you. That's what the people want for you. That's the only way for people to appreciate you. It's the only way that they view you. And if you don't take it on, others will, and then you're left being what?
だったら自分の仕事をきちんとしなさい。
怖いんですよ。エヴァ乗るのが。美里さんたちはいいですよ。いつも安全な地下本部にいて命令してるだけなんですから。
Mm-hmm.
15年前、セカンドイン
Impacts
パクト
like
で
this.
人類の半分が失われたわ。
Yup.
今使徒がサードインパクトを引き起こせば、今度こそ人は滅ぶ。一人の違い手でもサードインパクトを未然に防ぐ。その覚悟を持ってここにいる全員が働いているわ。
まさかエヴァ。
違うわ。この星の生命の始まりでもあり、収束の要ともなる。
We're doing this here?
リリスよ。
リリス。
そう。サードインパクトのトリガーとも言われているわ。このリリスを守り、エヴァで戦う。それはあなたにしかできないことなの。私たちはあなたとエヴァに人類の未来を託しているのよ。
そんな辛いこと。なんで僕なんですか。
理由はないわ。その運命が。
You got a bad draw, brother. Your luck fucking sucks. Like they got the spear and everything.
乗ってみます。
Like, so all the Kaji stuff just not gonna go down? Because what is she gonna go through to, like, understand and see things and everything for the first time now, you know?
重力の影響を受け直進しません。その誤差を修正するのを忘れないで。正確に
It's not easy.
手のみを
Okay, yeah, thank you,
こ
Ritsuko.
こが怖くなって。
Let me just calculate all that in my fucking head.
もし外れて敵が撃ち返してきたら。
今余計なことを考えないで。一撃で撃破することだけを考えなさい。
Don't think about if you fail, just worry about winning.
私は初号機を守ればいいのね。
That's all you gotta do.
わかりました。
Lock in.
時間よ。二人とも着替えて。あなたは死なないわ。
I'm protecting you,
私が守
brother.
るもの。
It's part of the job.
僕に守る価値なんてないよ。
The boy.
鈴原です。碇、いや、シンジと呼ばせてくれや。シンジ、頼むで。間です。頑張れよ。
To the rooftop.
綾波はなぜエヴァに乗るの。
絆だから。
父さんとの
みんなとの。
強いんだな、綾波は。
I'm kind of made to do it.
私には他に何もないもの。
That is you.
時間よ。
It's funny too, because it's like Shinji's making it out like that's all he has and that's all he is, when in reality that's all she is. Truly all she has and all she does.
時間です。
Move
シン
out.
ジ君、エヴァに乗ってくれた。それだけでも感謝するわ。ありがとう。
Give him some words of encouragement, you know? Thank him for something. Appreciate him. Manipulate him. Make him do it. The all-out attack. Oh, that's sick.
第三対地攻撃システム蒸発中。
Come on, buddy. There we go. The big one.
射撃要素で最終入力を開始。地球自転および重力の誤差修正プラス 0.0009。射撃は目標を自動追尾中。
うまくエヴァを操縦する自信もない。理由も分からずただ動かせただけだ。人類を守る。
You gotta be fucking kidding
わ
me.
かない大事なことを。
Ah.
なんで僕なんだ。
発射
Fire! What a scream. Paint the town red. Yeah, you thought. It was just, yeah.
目標に高エネルギー反応総員直撃に備えて
Alright, right, come protect, please, because we're about to all fucking die. Damn. I'll give it to the series, they make explosions look so fucking cool. Every time.
初号機パイロットを更迭。狙撃手は0号機パイロットに担当させろ。怒り。
Ow.
使えなければ切り捨てるしかない。
待ってください。
彼は逃げずにエヴァ
Show your trust, show your belief that he'll do it.
に託すべきです
And he reaches back and grabs onto the gun to continue.
頑張れよ。
You hear the voices of those who believe in you, who wished you well.
自分の子供を信じてください。
That's asking the fucking world of him.
私も初号機パイロットを信じます
任せる。好きにしたまえ。
あなたに預けるわ
頑張ってね。
The world's in your fucking hands, kid. Imagine being a 14-year-old kid and having all this. Everything relies on you. They've pierced it. No.
先端部本部直上ゼロ地点に到達。
第二射急いで
Lock in.
方針冷却終了。
再び高エネルギー反応やばい
Ray.
シンジ君
What a badass. Stepping in front of that shit. Music building up so strong. Finish it. Every last bit of electricity we got. Got it before it closed itself. Disappear, bitch. Disappear, bitch. Now we paint the town red still. Rainbow number 3. Counter up to 3, baby. I'm paying it. I'm watching. I see it. I wonder if they'll continue into the other movies. Ugh. And peel her out. Bro thinks he's Gendo.
自分には他に何もないってそんなこと言うなよ。悲しいこと言うなよ。
こういう時どんな顔すればいいのかわからないの。
笑えばいいと思うよ。
Do it to him. Do it to him. Nice. That alone made it all worth it.
外活の段階に入ったんだろう。
そう。司会文書外典は掟の書へと行を移した。契約の時は近い。
また3番目
Jeez.
変わらないな君は。会える時が楽しみだよ。碇シンジ君。
The completion of the first 6 episodes essentially here within our first rebuild movie, and it takes a really interesting route. I personally I'm left really conflicted. I gotta be honest. I didn't come out of this immediately being like, oh, I love that was a great experience. I really didn't. It feels weird to me, and I don't know if it's a seeing what happened before. So just having to essentially rewatch all these things made me not like as intrigued or invested into what's going on. Because it's not like me being left wondering and like anticipating like, oh, what could this mean? What could this mean? Like it's more of just like connecting the dots of like, oh, this was displayed here. I don't think that was here before. And oh, this was something else, you know? And a lot of just differences about it. There's some things that are definitely much better and much appreciated, and I enjoy a ton about this. But then there's such like a bunch of things too that I just don't really love, the changes and things that were kind of being made. And I guess like quickly to kind of go through some of them. Well, the animation itself is really fucking like stellar for what it is, and especially in relation to the main series. It just, I feel like a lot of the individual sequences lose their charm. A lot of them had like such uniqueness about them that doesn't feel present in the slightest. And when it does try to like almost be present in certain moments here, it doesn't feel the same. And it almost loses that aesthetic and that just charm that it had before, which really is not a great thing, because that was like one of my favorite takeaways from the series itself, was just the utilization, you know, of the time period and what they kind of had at their disposal, and really utilizing it to its fullest extent, and really making it have like such a unique take, like you being able to look at it in a certain way. And I just feel like a lot of it isn't really necessarily presented here. Another thing I personally don't love is just this is relation to literally all anime. Whenever they do compilation films, which I haven't really watched a bunch of them because for the reason I guess I'll explain right now. One, also, I just don't want to rewatch the entirety of the series. And two, typically the compilation films will take like 4 hours of footage, 4 to 5 hours of footage, and it'll crush it down into an hour and a half to 2 hours total. And a lot of times when you do that, it cuts out specific moments that I think are very impactful. It cuts out a lot of moments that really develop characters, and you lose a lot of characterization on people, and you lose a lot of the dynamics and the connections that characters can kind of grow to each other, and such like subtle little moments that really take a hit when you do that. And I think that is extremely present here. We lose our entire dynamic between the 3 boys at school. It feels nearly non-existent. And while they try to apply it in certain ways, they try and add up, you know, by having the phone call at the back end, and Shinji kind of recalling that and going through all of that. You lose the entire moments where they're sitting in the back of the Ava and they're really being like, what the fuck? Like completely mind blown at seeing the horrors and screams and stuff that Shinji has to go through. You lose the interaction and understanding of Toji, like feeling completely bad about the situation and wanting to be hit. You lose the tension being built up of all the other characters learning directly about what Shinji is, and he's the pilot, while somebody like Toji's sitting in the back and completely pissed, knowing the things that kind of go down with him and his sister and everything, right? Like there's a lot of build up and things to these moments that really make certain different things impactful to me, that I really enjoyed specifically, that are just gone. My favorite episode of the first 6 combined, I think, was episode 4, and 80% of that was non-existent here. Him running away for the first time, Masato going back to get him, the meeting at the train station, the interaction he has between him and everybody else as their newly found friends, in a way. The way that they see him, and they see him off when he ends up running, and we don't get any of that, and it's all gone. And I don't know. It's just things like that. Like it really bugs me. And I get it. So maybe this is a personal thing, right? Like maybe I should be looking at it from the perspective of, this is not the main series. This is different. So don't look at the things that the main series had, but just look at what's kind of presented here and how all that flows. But it's hard to do that because you have the characterization, you have the growth and development, you have the extra context of a lot of these scenes, because you've seen them and you kind of know what should be there and what goes into place. And it makes you really question like why they're not or what they're doing. And I think it loses a lot. And that's my favorite. That's unfortunately my favorite thing, is a lot of that stuff and the dynamics and stuff between the characters. While the expanding on the city, these are good things about it that I'll talk about now, I guess, but the use of the extra CG and everything that they're going into is ways to expand upon the city itself. The way that they enhance a lot of these fights, the way that the animation itself and the music kind of builds up, and it really makes it like extremely extra and extremely special. And they're significantly like better, in my opinion, a lot of them, than the actual main series. I would every day of the week trade that for being able to flesh out characters a lot more. That's personally how I am. Some of my favorite series don't have great animation about them, That's like why a lot of like newer series where people go insane, and why I'm not like really into a lot of series that are just like straight, action fests, because it's like, I don't know, it doesn't do as much for me as a lot of these other character moments and things do. And a lot of that just doesn't feel or hit the same to me. Even the end scene when Shinji's kind of going and talking to Rei, right? And we get to see her smile and everything. The impact I felt on the first time almost doesn't feel the same. It didn't hit the same. It felt like that conversation was rushed through. It felt like all the buildup and stuff with their relationship up to that point, the conversation and everything we had up to that point before we ended up going into the fight too, it all felt like it wasn't there. And so much of it, too, is a result of, while we give so much extra to characters like Masato and being able to tell off Gendo in that moment and be able to be like, believe in your son and let him do this. And Shinji comes out and looks a lot more heroic, with him screaming and clawing back and wanting to get in there and finish this thing off. And we add that, which is like a welcome thing, because it's like, yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome to be able to get something like that. I feel like it ruins the immediate, like, Rei came in and Rei went out of her way to save him. It ruins like that immediate connection, almost, because you see him doing something extremely heroic and then she has to step in and do something as well, as opposed to this timid person who's still struggling in the position and everything that he's in. And then she kind of comes in place. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's just a lot of things that I'm just left like, I don't know, not too thrilled about a lot of it, which leaves me a bit unhappy. Well, I think like a lot of it comes out great too. Expanding on some of the stuff a lot earlier. We get an extra scene, Masato, I don't believe this happened at least, but we get an extra scene where Masato's like yelling and being kind of abusive and stuff. And I think I made some comments about that at the time towards Shinji, with the way that she's like very hands-on with him and the way that she's very stern and strict about him. But then she ends up hitting herself afterwards, almost as if she can't believe, the things that she's doing and putting this other person through, because she damn well knows the dangers and stuff that come along with it, and that she is using and utilizing this person for her own, things and her own desires and stuff for what she's trying to do. She's just kind of falling in line like a puppet, right? and she absolutely hates that, you know, she has to see that or put him through that, which is something that we do get to see up to a certain point. And of course, she kind of goes back on that when she almost like openly accepts that he can run away in that meeting that they have, and her going to see him and stuff at the station that gets entirely cut out of it. But get like development of stuff like that, I think is good to introduce early, fleshing out Gendo a lot more and understanding the things and, you know, behind what he's doing a little bit more as we get these little individual scenes with him and Fuyutsuki's talking together are great. I'm very welcomed for that. While they do leave me wondering, because they do ruin a lot of I guess mystery behind what he's actually anticipating and like doing. And it does answer a lot of things when they talk about like, oh, we only have this many angels left that we have to go after. Oh, like the scrolls come in a lot earlier, I'm pretty sure, than initially talked about too. And it's like a lot of that stuff does get presented, and he does kind of show his hand a little bit earlier, it kind of feels like, than before. It's not maybe the worst thing. It might just feel that way because it's having context of when everything occurs in the original and actually understanding him a bit more, might feel that way. So I don't know how to exactly feel about that, but I do like the idea that it seems like we're giving him that attention a lot earlier because we're aware, like, yeah, we kind of, you know, missed the mark on that and we took forever to do so. We had another scene where he like seems like he's showing a lot of emotion with Rei, like, and her thing going berserk, which to my memory, he didn't do that, and he actually just stood strong the entire time. But I honestly don't know if I dislike that. Well, I do, because I really like the version of him that seems like completely unwavering and like very like stern in the things that he's doing. And it seems like a lot of different scenes, even the other one when like Masato tells him off and like he kind of calls for like Rei to come in as opposed to Shinji and all that, right? Scenes like that, it almost seems like we're missing what like I liked so much about his character before, but almost, I guess, maybe necessary, especially the race scene, because we do get to see a little bit more why he's cares so much for her, especially having more context as to why. So that makes it a little bit more impactful, revealing a lot of the stuff at play too with Celia and what they're going after and their own feelings and stuff a bit earlier on too is pretty cool. I think because a lot of that stuff is like almost background things that were getting developed at times, but I feel like we're a little bit too focused on like presently what's going on as opposed to what they're actually working towards, without giving things as much context as they kind of need. So another necessary added on to it. We'll quickly scroll through the movie. I don't have too much I really want to end up adding to it. Everything visually looks so much better. They do a great job at really building the things out, the backgrounds and everything really within it. The fidelity and stuff is so much higher. The explosions look so much extra than what they were. Stuff like this, like within the facility, these are the things where like I feel weird because maybe this shot did happen and I'm not specifically remembering, but there's a lot of that unique like charm that I was talking about that feels like it's lost through what we end up getting in a lot of these sequences, where they're actually like going through and exploring. While it is cool that we're fleshing the facility itself out and we're adding a lot more detail and stuff to it, some of like that lack of detail and just having areas that are like missing it, it's almost like the less is better. And sometimes, and this is one of those times where I kind of feel that. The first meeting, of course, you got to do it. It doesn't actually protect them this time, as opposed to what it ended up doing before. So that entire sequence gets a little bit skipped, but we forced Shinji to really go into it. This is like another one where they showcase a lot of the visuals like this to really explain like the inner workings of what they're doing. Gets really expanded on. And I think that's for the better. Well, I'm not like the most intrigued or interested and have really any care for stuff like this. I think being able to, especially for the ones and the people that do, instead of just visually like physically like saying these things, you're visual, like putting visuals on screen for anybody extra to kind of follow along, understand, and really get behind it. We launch it, we begin the first battle, and things aren't going well, as you know, they never had. He's getting completely destroyed. We skip the hospital scene entirely here and just have the berserk mode kind of come out after he gets blasted completely until he's able to kind of go through. We also skip like the head falling off, the initial like realization of like what it actually is, this thing kind of behind it, and his wondering and stuff that comes from that. And instead he has a little flash where we end up getting to hear about the family names and a bunch of things before he wakes up in the hospital, which I think is a cool little twist on it and changing what it is. Well, I still think that the initial is significantly like way better done. it makes sense for a time consumption sake. You have to kind of cut things like that because then you can't go into detail for another 20 something minutes of an episode to really explain what happened until you got to that point. You know what I mean? Like you gotta speed it up. So like it definitely makes sense like from this state. I don't think we've seen Celie like in this form. We always had them like at the actual like meeting table and stuff prior to like in later in the series they started developing them into this instead and not actually visibly being there and just being under like the sound. So I think that's cool. They get a little remodel, not too much, but a little bit. Having to see everybody else, the plane, like just so much more detail on so many of the different things that we have. It's like shots like this, like when I talk about it losing its charm. It developed so much more because there's so many rows of seats and things, whereas like the initial interaction, if I'm correct, before is literally just like one row and Masato just walks into it. But there's something about like the color palette and everything and like the emptiness of the room that you kind of walk into when you see this person alone like that hits so much more than like making it this bigger scale and making him less of something within it. I don't know. It's just, to me, it doesn't do as much. And like the first interaction and all these things just don't have that impact I think that it felt like it had on me before. And I'm somebody who rewatches a lot of stuff a lot. So that's why like it just feels a little weird that rewatching it here is really having no impact on me. I don't know. This stuff, like the transformation of the city, the use of CG for that is where it really excels, where it's really fucking excellent in my opinion, and it really brings it to life. It allows you to really feel the scale of it and really feel the detail and everything kind of within it. It doesn't just feel like a background set piece to it, but it like really feels like it has some life to it, which I think is great, where I can't say that for like some of the things that we're doing within the facility when they're trying to expand it, because it feels like we're doing too much there for whatever reason. On my end, it just doesn't feel like that. Like I almost like the rawness of what we had before there, whereas like in the city and everything, I really like the development and stuff that we get. And we get to see that later when we see everybody coming in, and we're working towards killing the last angel on this one, and we have like the military and all the fucking power and all that stuff that we're trying to get together, and you can really feel the amount of people that are working in this operation to make this kind of come together, and it's done so much more excellent. I think first meeting we come together, a lot of it's still mostly the same. We develop things a little bit. Actually, I think this conversation had happened and occurred before. Immediately starting, we getting beat up, skipping the entire scene within the school. Like I said, I think we just lose so much by not having those types of scenes. This is one of those where I actually really like it, of them like sitting on these and going through the facility. I don't know, it hits a little bit more, but being able to see like Gendo as well, we got to see that conversation before. Hey, I'm going to work towards getting Rei and Shinji together a little bit more. It works extremely well for developing and understanding he truly had the intentions of bringing that stuff together. More expansion on the city and the way those things go. It looks great when they do it. I really do appreciate and enjoy that. The whole interaction here where Shinji's struggling and getting his ass kind of kicked, runs into the boys on the outside. This just doesn't have the impact. It isn't developed between them and their relationship as much. The angel itself being, I think like they do a good job at blending the two in 3D together. On a lot of these, this angel I think was pretty rough and didn't do a great job. The reveal and having the hand here instead actually kind of come out, I think is really excellent, to make you kind of question it, especially if you hadn't seen the main series or anything there too. I think is really an excellent thing as Shinji goes forward and he continues to fight. We get another rainbow to appear, which for whatever reason keeps happening every time we defeat one. Conversation here, essentially forcing him into things, being very abusive in a way with him, but hits herself because she can't kind of forgive herself for that moment. This sequence of him running away, I think, is really excellent. I was pissed that they got rid of the movie theater scene. To be honest, I kind of was, and I still am, and I'm still very upset that we didn't have the meeting with our boy later where we get to talk to him a little bit more, but it makes sense like for what they're going for, and I think they do a good job at expanding it and having him like continue and go on and on and on more before he decides he needs to turn around until he like reaches that blocked road, the empty road. Like there's nowhere for you to go, there's nowhere for you to continue but to go back and return to it, and I think it does a way better job at kind of symbolizing that. This is one of those scenes where like the emptiness of it, the way that we use this is like the set piece and everything, the lighting that comes in, this is the original. This is what that is, right? And I love the feeling of the rawness that you almost get in this, that I feel like a lot of what they develop throughout the series here is lost, which is a bit unfortunate. Going berserk, but he's losing it, of course, and he's going to go save Rei. the connection between them, I don't know. I felt something the first time I did. Like I was buying a little bit in the anger and stuff that Shinji kind of got into, like his unhappiness about it, where I don't necessarily feel that as much anymore. Talking about him being lonely and stuff, especially putting it in the new context, especially putting in why she's leaving early, also putting in why she's giving us the cards, due to Gendo setting it up, due to us understanding that she's working behind the scenes kind of with him, right? Like it all adds up. It all makes so much more sense here. The good old grab scene, of course. Like this scene, it's like, I don't know. I prefer the original significantly more just for the dialogue and stuff that goes between, but visually too, I enjoy it. I think this does a good job at expanding how big the facility really is, but I don't know. It doesn't feel the same to me. When she immediately like kind of feels like she hits him, whereas before it felt like he had that anger and stuff about him before he was really getting angry, and that's where you could feel the frustration and the displeasure that he had with his dad that you just don't get anymore. This Angel, this entire fight, they do such an excellent job. It lasts for like 30-something minutes. Like they do such a good job at developing it, doing a great job at personally, like just showcasing this Angel and the transformations and everything that it can kind of go through. I think it does such a good job. It really enhances the original so much more, I think. It really does. Like just scenes like this of us walking and seeing everybody in movement, everybody in motion, trying to get these things to work are done significantly better. Instead of just visually showing it, like you really feel the amount of effort and people kind of being put into this, putting into context a little bit more about Shinji and, you know, what he wants to do and doesn't want to do and the way he feels about himself and stuff. We leave, operation begins. A lot of development between them and their relationship felt like it was just cut a bit, but like scenes like this do such a good job at really expanding how many people and how much is really being worked on here. So good. Tries to continue onward, push him to a point that he does, get to see the physical contact and her kind of doing some sort of intimacy in some sort of way that allows him to push a little bit further. This I don't get. So we're going to cut Kaji. They bring Lilith up a lot too. So they bring that to our understanding a lot earlier, that this is the thing, which is a good thing because Lilith was not introduced till really late, which was like an annoying thing. So I have no problem with that at all. It just is interesting. So we have it. The spear's already here. We don't have to send Rey out to like do any of that stuff. This all already occurred. We changed the design and the face and everything of Lilith. And Masato's well aware of what's going on and what we're doing. And that is enough to really like help continue to push Shinji because she's, you know, covering so much here too. And they have so much that they're working towards and they're trying to prevent. And it does a great job at really pushing that a little bit further and getting him to go. But so we're going to cut Kaji's use in this and him, you know, going behind the scenes and figuring everything out. So a lot of their relationship stuff, especially the stuff that gets developed after his death, is really going to be useless. Like it isn't going to hit the same because she's not uncovering the same sort of secrets and things, it almost feels like, anymore. Unless we're changing things entirely from that. Like this, just like set pieces like this though, like they do a great job when they do this, but it just, some of the others just feel like they really lose the specialness about them. Like getting to really feel and see the scale of the size difference and everything and what's going on. Operation begins. The explosions look so fucking good. They really do. And Shinji, like his struggle and everything that he goes through here, being able to hear that phone call and stuff from the others is something that's needed for him to push a little bit further on, where it's the initial strike doesn't work, blowing them away like this. And then afterwards, Masato being able to yell and be like, no, keep going. Like, and you have some fucking trust in your son is pretty cool. Him just clawing back until he can, trying to do something. Rey able to protect us at the last possible moment though, as the drill kind of goes through, and we're able to get off that shot. This interaction doesn't feel the same, but at the same time, it's kind of still the same thing for what it is. And we end up getting the smile. All is good and well. And then we open up and things are entirely different here. We get to expand, see him a little bit early. We have a physical form, which you'd assume is Adam, would be the assumption. So that's here instead. We're on the moon is also the guess, right? They talk about that at other points too. So I don't know, lots of questions there, but I do appreciate that they kind of started expanding and opening and adding him in a little bit earlier on here, you know, also understanding he's connected with Celia, also understanding, you know, that they are connected and, you know, what he's behind and what their intentions are. And it does a nice job at tying a lot of that together. So yeah, really love some, really didn't love a bunch of the others. It just wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't hit as much, I feel like, as I kind of would have wished. And I don't think it's bad by any means, but I think it's like the same reason why I have a lot of issues with different like compilation films and stuff for series. It just like, I don't know. This is better than like a compilation film typically would be, just due to the fact that they can upgrade the animation so much more and stuff about it, but it's not maybe as much as or cater towards me, I guess. I don't know. And the things that I liked about it and the things that I would enjoy. So we'll just kind of let it be and we'll move into episode 2. Let me know if you felt the same way as I did, if you felt entirely different, if you just don't get where I'm coming from. Maybe you do, but you just don't agree. I don't know. Let me know. If you liked it, all the like and subscribe to me. I'll feel free to check out the video and channel and comments for this episode of series. I'll be back for Rebuild movie number 2 very soon. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.